code changes that will be coming for quality of life concerns and just general revisions to the code that have been long overdue. The Environmental Commission met last night, and the subset of that, the Green Team, which is part of our Sustainable Jersey recertification efforts, submitted the second of 3 submissions for recertification. We are working tirelessly to get that certification back and improve upon our previous standing as a bronze status municipality. There's also an upcoming event on October 10th, which is the first of our 2 monthly meetings for the Environmental Commission. The purpose of this meeting will be solely focused on bike and pedestrian safety issues in the town. So any of you who are walkers or joggers or ride your bikes, or frankly anybody who drives a car and is aware that we have bike lanes, sharrows, and people who do such activities, it might be worthwhile to come turn out, find out what's being done by the borough, how we can better engage the community, and what other efforts are being undertaken. So that will be October 10th. I'll mention it again at the next council meeting. But that will be a solely focused meeting on bike and pedestrian safety in the town.
Thank you. Michael, I think you already gave your report. Anything else?
Yes, Mayor, just really quickly, I just wanted to congratulate Ray Weston, who was a former councilman, fire commissioner, fire chief, and then a volunteer for 50 years in the Red Bank Fire Department. Last week, Westside Hose held a party for Mr. Weston, just honoring his 50 years of volunteer service. Most of the governing body was able to attend and to congratulate him. So just incredible to see residents of Red Bank who can dedicate 5 decades worth of public service in so many different facets of the municipality. So just wanted to congratulate him on the record, as well as thank the party committee again for the hard work. Thank you.
It was a good party. We deserved it.
Oh, yes, thank you, Mayor, for bringing the resolution and for speaking.
I signed it in advance of your actions. I figured you wouldn't vote no. Council President.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a very short report about the library. Elizabeth McDermott, the director, has asked me to give a big shout out to Sue Viscomi because of her volunteer. She has recorded 22 hours of volunteer time this summer, recording the oral interviews of various residents here in Red Bank. These interviews will become part of the library's archives. And Elizabeth said that Sue is incredibly generous with her time and passionate about collecting Red Bank stories. So I want to thank you, Sue. I think all of us do. It's a great project, so thank you for your time. And there are 2 upcoming programs. September 23rd is the history of the New Jersey cranberry. I don't think I was even aware that there were cranberries in New Jersey. But we have cranberries. So September 23rd at 11 a.m. Go to the library. You'll find out everything you want to know about cranberries in New Jersey. And then that same day at 2 p.m. there's a Genealogy 101. And on September 20th, well, I don't know. Might be. September 27th, it's Let's Talk About Race. It's part of that the series of Let's Talk About Race, and they'll be showing a movie, I Am Not Your Negro. So that's on the 27th. She didn't give me a time, but it's usually in the evening. It's usually at this time. That's why none of us can ever go to that series. 6:30. Okay. Where is Elizabeth? Oh, I can't see you from here. Okay, great. Thanks. And I just wanted to say too that on 9/11, the Elks hosted a very moving ceremony at Riverside Gardens Park to remember the 2 residents whom we lost 16 years ago. 16 years ago, yeah. And also all of those who were lost, and to remember their families and all of those people who are still, I think, probably reeling from the effects of 9/11. So it was a very nice service, and the mayor spoke very eloquently as usual. That's it.
Thank you, Kathy. Edward.
Thanks, Mayor. Yes, Kathy, it was a very somber evening, but it was a beautiful day. And the Elks did a wonderful job as they do every year. And we couldn't be any more grateful to them for doing that every year. Just A quick note from the Department of Public Utilities. As you recall, last year Governor Christie did not fund the Transportation Trust, and therefore our road program was delayed. But on tonight's agenda are resolutions for the road program, allowing us to begin paving Manor Drive, Layton Avenue, and Prospect Avenue, along with the Gold Street lot. I wanted to give a special shout out to Cliff Keene and Laura Newman for seeing through all of the processes this year. Laura has also included, to Mark's comment earlier, has also included our bicycling Share the Road sharrows in our repaving of the roads. And we want to make sure that we comply with our bike and ped pedestrian element to our master plan. So tonight we have roads to begin, so let's roll.
That's it, Eric.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to let you know that the Red Bank Parks and Rec Department fall newsletter will be coming out next week, and it features all of the upcoming events and activities for the department. Fall sports are underway, with spaces still available for soccer for grades pre-K to 2nd grade. Basketball registration is also underway, and we will begin registering for winter indoor soccer next week. Also, Red Bank Parks and Rec Department is having a photo contest where they're taking pictures of Red Bank, and we'll be providing 10 passes to Great Adventure as our prizes, so please submit those pictures to Charlie and the Red Bank Parks Department. And also the Halloween Parade is scheduled for October 22nd. We also have additional Halloween events that are in the works as well, which we'll notify you about. And lastly, we'll be running a family trip to Cheesequake Farms on October 14th. So if anybody wants information on that, please contact Charlie at Parks and Rec.
What farms?
Cheesequake Farms.
There's a Cheesequake farm? By Cheesequake
You should
Farm?
go on the trip.
I should go on the trip.
There are cranberries and there is Cheesequake Farm.
And the genealogy of cranberries.
And maybe you'll find cranberries at that farm.
Thank you.
And I just I noticed that our green team chair is in the audience. Pat, I don't know whether you heard Eric just talk about that photo contest, but going back to that point you made to me earlier, that might be something we can follow up on.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, and Pat, thank you for being here, as well as other members of the Environmental Commission. And Mark, you, I know, had indicated that you're moving forward with the Environmental Commission on a number of initiatives, and all of us, I think, have to be a little bit more concerned about the resiliency factor. And I think that we're looking forward as a governing body to moving forward on that particular initiative. So look forward to working with the Environmental Commission to see if we can move that along. I just wanted to let the public know that I am grateful for the support by the council as well as by the team here at Borough Hall. For the first time, we do have both online as well as individual responses. Should be outside of every department that will be able to receive comments from the individual members of the public, both online or returning them at the box at the exit to the Borough Hall. That will be anonymous if you wish, or if you want to respond, you can place your name with respect to what I call customer satisfaction in terms of issues involving our departments. They could be good comments, bad comments, indifferent, but we do have that in place. It is available. It is now both online as well as paper surveys that can be filled out at every department or outside of the department. You don't have to ask if you don't want to. It'll be outside the window or outside the office, and you can return them at your leisure, online, or even in the box. And I think that's a forward step that we've been talking about for a while. I see some members here of our newest borough committee, and I want to thank them for serving, including our videographer. I always have a problem with that word. Sue Viscomi, as well as a number of other people. Pat Pinto is here, as well as a number of others. For our first ever Animal Welfare Rights Committee. I have to tell you, I attended the first meeting, and I was thrilled by the enthusiasm, and you better have your running shoes on, because they're going to have a number of proposals as soon as we get through some of the other issues that we have to deal with probably next month, about really exciting concepts to bring Red Bank into the 21st century in terms of animal welfare and animal rights, not just for little puppies and little kittens, but for all animals. And I think we're going to be on the cutting edge on making recommendations to our state legislatures, if they listen, in terms of new initiatives that other states have been doing that we can do. The council has been very supportive. I know that we're working forward on a new ordinance regarding signs, and I thank Mark for moving that along. But we also have to move on a number of different initiatives as soon as we clear the deck after the 27th, and I think we'll be doing very well. As all of you know, we are losing a major corporate resident, K-Hop Enterprises. However, as I indicated in the press, as they say in The Sound of Music, whenever somebody closes a window, they open a door, or vice versa. And the door that has been opened is an even more exciting and more extraordinary financial stakeholder in our town that will be taking over that particular premises and more. And there's more to be announced later on. So I think it's very exciting. We are not losing a rateable. We are increasing a rateable and other ancillary properties along that street. So very excited about that, and puts us in great financial position. We've spent many hours with a lot of the stakeholders, but more importantly, the message is that Red Bank is open for business. Red Bank is a center. Red Bank is evolving, and we are competitive, and we have to remain competitive, and we are evolving. And frankly, next door is another wonderful opportunity that is opening next door and next week. The groundbreaking for the Count Basie Theater, and the groundbreaking for our Center for the Arts, not just for Monmouth County, but for the area as a whole. It's an extraordinary pat on the back for our municipality, because it brings in not only culture, which I keep on saying is a civilizing influence on all of us, but it also assists our businesses, and it assists our reputation and our raison d'etre for a community as we evolve, and what makes us tick economically as well as in the competitive edge in New Jersey. So thanks for your support on all of that. Yes? Wasn't it The Sound of Music?
Nope.
Wasn't that Sister Maria something or other? It was, yeah. Mother Superior said to Sister Maria every time God opens he closes a window, he opens a door, or whatever. It's like a convent. But I never went to the convent, so I can't tell you for sure.
Dan, please make sure that doesn't mean.
Was it The Sound of Music?
It's Paul, you're good.
Climb every mountain, and Jim Scavone is going to start singing. All right. Communications and petitions. Block party request for residents of John Street for September 30th. Motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any members of the public have any comments on any resolutions or ordinances that are on the public agenda, as well as Ordinance 32, which is the ordinance on the jitney that was explained by both Councilman Whalen and our borough attorney, and Ordinance 33, which rescinds the White Street redevelopment plan, and Resolution 218, which then sets forth the public meeting, assuming that the ordinance is rescinded on the 27th. On the 27th of September, regarding the scrapping of the 3 of the 5 RFPs and continuing discussions with 2. Stephen.
I'll never get this right. Stephen Heck, 135 Branch Avenue. Mr. Mayor, did you just indicate that comments relative to the White Street parking lot are in order at this moment or not?
Well, we're rescinding the redevelopment plan, so that's the ordinance that's on the agenda.
Well,
So it's scrapping the entire
I understood
redevelopment.
that the plan is being rescinded. What I didn't understand is your subsequent talking about a redevelopment plan for 2.
No.
You called them redevelopers, and so I was
That's right. No,
confused.
so there's not a new redevelopment plan. We are continuing discussions with two possible developers or others, but three of the 5 were completely scrapped.
And that White Street lot is no longer
Not
an
a
area
redevelopment.
in need of redevelopment?
The ordinance that was challenged in court is being rescinded, so that eliminates the basis for the litigation, and the White Street lot goes back to its original designation.
It's no longer an area in
No.
need of redevelopment?
And there will be full discussions on the 27th, assuming that that goes through. We're only introducing that that is the intent of the council to rescind the redevelopment plan.
Thank you. I did have a question about Resolution 17213, which is a tax
appeal
refund.
settlement for 55 Broad.
55 Broad, yes. I have read these notices repeatedly over the last many years about appeals and settlements and money that's being refunded. And I have neglected during all that time to ask who or what is the borough's valuation expert?
You mean the appraiser who provides the appraisal for
Well-
defensive tax appeals?
I don't know if that's what I mean. If there's the assessor, the attorney, and the borough's valuation expert.
Oh, yeah, that's the appraiser of the tax appeal.
The appraiser, and
Typically
Is that,
utilized, forgive me. Okay, yeah.
Generally, but I don't know if he was on this, but that
We
would,
generally,
the Gagliano appraisal.
Bob Gagliano, who works for almost every town in the county. I don't know off the top of my head, as we sit here today, whether or not he was the valuation expert on this particular case. I can't.
so the valuation expert is a vendor, a professional who is paid per
It works differently
appeal?
in different towns. Yes, it's an expert witness that's paid, compensated for his testimony by the borough. Sometimes the attorney in charge of the tax appeal pays him and the borough pays them back. Sometimes they become an actual vendor of the town. It's permissible to do it either way as a litigation expense or as a vendor. I don't know off the top of my head, because I have an occasion to hire a appraiser in your guys' behalf, but
Well,
I don't know how you do it here.
The normal procedure, Steve, is that, as Mr. Cannon knows, we both deal with tax court quite a bit, but the normal procedure is that if the municipality has to do a trial-ready appraisal to defend its report, then we have to pay for an actual report. And normally that is prepared, and there's a set fee for that. That's quoted by Mr. Gagliano or anybody else. And they're fair and reasonable, we're all within the range. Now, Dan O'Hearn represented us on this, our former borough attorney for tax court, and I do not know, because we don't have that information as to whether or not we actually paid for a report or not, but certainly we would pay for Mr. O'Hearn's time and energy and court appearances.
So with respect to the tax court, the assessor is not admitted as an expert in valuation, or is there a conflict because the assessor chose a number at some point and that's being contested?
Before the county board?
No, this is before the tax.
Oh, for the tax court, no, you always hire an outside expert.
Okay, and
No,
how about,
the tax
this
assessor.
is a settlement.
It is a settlement, yes.
This is not
Not a
a
judgment.
finding by the court.
No, it's a
Correct.
settlement, and the results of the settlement would result in a tax refund over 2 years of $13,686.
But also,
And is it,
Yeah,
2 drops without.
is a
Yeah.
valuation expert necessary in an appeal if it's not before the court?
if it's not before the court,
Yeah, if this is, I didn't mean an appeal, in a settlement.
It's not always necessary. I mean, typically it goes,
Not.
not always. I mean, it depends on the situation. Sometimes you get in court and you find out that the circumstances of the property drastically changed. The assessor had no way to know that because it was in between inspection periods or something like that. And other times it's a much closer call. So the borough typically doesn't incur the expense of an evaluation expert unless it really needs to know where it's at in the tax appeal to make either an informed settlement or to try the case if they're unable to reach a resolution on a reasonable basis.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Yes.
My name is Greg Held. I live at 31 Spring Street. To all you young guys on the parish, on the council here,
Greg, why don't you use the microphone, please? Thank you. That way we're
I'm
good.
definitely full of young people
To the bottom.
down here. There we go.
That's the trigger button.
I did? Okay.
There you go. Okay, good.
I'm definitely full of you young people on the council. I've lived here my whole entire life, and I was talking to a friend of mine who was in Florida, who happened to be one of the families that lost their home when we built that parking lot on White Street. And when I told him we were having a problem, he said, "Oh my God, how can it be that we haven't resolved that issue after all these years?" So thank you for the steps that you're taking. Let's move forward together, all of us. I agree with Mayor, it's been forever, right? My whole entire life.
Name Moses?
Yeah. Two problems in Red Bank, parking and traffic. So thank you for that, at least.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on to ordinances for first reading. Ordinance 2017-31 is an ordinance approving a new zoning map and amendment of Chapter 490 of the Planning and Development Regulations to include the new zoning map. Motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing will be when? I'm sorry? Okay, public hearing will be October 11th. This has to go to the planning board for the public hearing.
Just for the public's benefit, this zoning map does not include any new zoning changes or amendments to anything that you haven't already heard before. It's simply the memorialization of anything that's been passed since 2010, rememorialized and included in the borough code so that everyone can go online and see what the zoning map is. It's just updating the zoning map.
Yep. Ordinances for ordinance for introduction will be ordinance 2017-32, which is the ordinance that revises the general ordinance to provide for jitneys. Motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Public hearing, Pam, will be when? At 6:30 p.m. Ordinance 2017-33 is the ordinance that I read earlier, which is the ordinance that by acting on this, the council will introduce an ordinance to rescind ordinance 2016-25 and the redevelopment plan for the property commonly known as the White Street parking lot located at 75-79 White Street and identified on the borough's official tax map as Block 31, Lot 2.01. Motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Ingstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zickridge?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schwabenbauer?
Yes.
Councilman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Okay, public hearing will be on September 27th at 6:30 p.m. While we're at it, we're going to attach that because it's part of the same ordinance and discussed earlier, Resolution 17-218, which is the resolution directing the placement of a resolution authorizing the continued discussion with certain redevelopers for the property known as the White Street parking lot located at 75-79 White Street and identified on the borough's official tax map as Block 31, Lot 2.01 on the September 27th council meeting agenda and incorporating by reference Schedule A, which was further read on the record, that designates continued discussions with other parties, inclusive of the two parties which are respondents BNE Canoe Red Bank LLC and Yellowbrook Property Company LLC. Motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Let's do a roll call on that too, I'm sorry. It's a board action. Roll call on that.
Councilman Yangstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipperich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schwabenbauer?
Yes.
Councilman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Those resolutions will be discussed with the ordinance on September 22nd, 6:30 p.m. Then moving forward to ordinances for public hearing and final adoption, ordinance 2017-29, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 680 concerning vehicles and traffic of Section 680 time limit parking, and this is at the recommendation of the parking committee.
Yeah, Mayor, this is just real quick, again, to refresh everyone's memory, this is creating the 3 spots, hopefully 3 spots in front of Brook. We're taking out the loading zone in front of Brook and putting spots there, so you can all get your coffee without getting parking illegally.
Okay. Any members of the public wish to, let's open it up. Any members of the public wish to address this ordinance? If not, motion to close. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Yangstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipperich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan? Yes. Councilwoman Schwabenbauer?
Yes.
Councilman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
All right, the ordinance is adopted. Secondly, on public hearing is ordinance 2017-30. It's an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 680, vehicles and traffic concerning loading zones. This deals with the elimination of the loading zones since it is no longer required on White Street. Any members of the public wish to be heard on this? If not, motion to close.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second. Second. Roll call.
Councilman Yangstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipperich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schwabenbauer?
Yes.
Councilman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted. Resolutions by consent, unless there's any objection, would be Resolution 17-204 and inclusive of, up to and inclusive of Resolution 17-210. Motion to adopt. Second. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 17-211, a resolution rejecting all bids received for the River Street retaining wall project and authorizing the advertising and rebid of the project with revised specifications. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 17-212, a resolution accepting bids and awarding contracts for the 2017 Red Bank Road Program. Motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 17-213, a resolution authorizing tax appeal settlement regarding 55 Broad Street, LLC, for a reduction of $13,686.18. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 17-214, appointing a per diem part-time dispatcher for the police department. Motion. So moved. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 17-215, approving the hiring of custodian part-time bus driver for the senior center. Motion. So moved. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 17-216, a resolution to approve the hiring of public works worker and public works custodian. Motion.
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 17-217, 17-217. A resolution to approve the hiring of a permanent part-time library assistant. Second.
Mayor, I had a question on that last time before we brought it up. I just wanted to know if that particular hiree was going to be able to assist with the library with tearing down and setting up rooms and stuff.
I object. I don't think this is a place to talk about
Wait a minute,
that.
this has been the council discussion, Elizabeth.
My question last time was whether this employee was going to be able to assist the library with some of the functions that are handled in-house versus bringing in outside employees from DPU and other teams that were a little bit short-staffed. So that if we're going to hire somebody, they should be able to assist in all those functions.
Councilman, this employee had worked a larger number of hours part-time. However, this employee took a full-time job elsewhere, which reduced the number of hours, but because that position was in the union, she found that she had hours that were available that were less than the union hours. So we're bringing her back on a part-time hourly basis. This is not a full-time employee or employee that would be capable of doing that work. This is trying to change her from one classification to another so that she can continue to assist the library, but in a lesser hour capacity.
Evidently, there was a September 6th letter. Did you get that? Okay. That explains what the factual matter.
It still doesn't answer the question of whether the libraries can be able to handle some of their own responsibilities a little bit better. That's ultimately my question. I understand classification, reclassification, that's fine. I'm fine with the hiring. I'm just curious whether we're going to address that issue.
Well, we're always trying to address it, and probably DPW needs more money in its budget to hire people too. I mean, that's something that we should look at as we move forward with the budget for 2018.
I'm just saying it may not be DPU's responsibility. It's the library's responsibility. We can have that conversation at a different time. I asked that question, I just want to re-ask it. That's all.
Okay, is the council prepared to move on? If so, there's a motion, right? There's a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so it's adopted unanimously. 17-217, a resolution to approve, oh no, that's not, that's proper. 17-203, a resolution for the payment of bills amounting to $1,915,596.36. Motion? Second, all in favor? Then the other resolutions, ma'am? Any proclamations of any kind? Any old business? Any new business? Audience? Ms. Barton?
Yeah. Good evening, Cindy Burnham, 71 Wallace Street. I just want to give our parking supervisor, Bill Wiltz, a shout out. He's doing a great job, especially since school started. And where I live, like say a block from the parking lots, we have had a lot of business people parking, school children parking, and he has just really been on top of it. Comes when you call, they're doing the ticketing, and I just want to say he's doing a great job.
Well, thank you, Cindy. I know that we heard from not only your street, but I know that I received a number of different calls from Hudson Avenue and
Mechanic.
Linden Place, and also Erling Place, and a number of other side streets, Waverly. So there was a preschool meeting with Bill and his team, and they are sensitive to the neighborhood's request, and I think that they're extra vigilant, and so thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, they're doing great. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Boyd?
Good afternoon, P.O. Box 207, Red Bank. Mr. Minna, Stanley, I see you got, for the senior citizen.
Fred, could you speak with the microphone? I
I
can't
see
hear
you
you in the
got,
back.
for the senior citizen, you're looking for a guy for the senior citizen to work. Are they going to need a CDL license or no?
Yes,
It don't say, I mean, it don't spell that out.
this applicant has it.
You know, it don't say that in it. Mr. Minna, if you have a minute, I'd like to speak to you, Stanley, Cliff, and the chief of police.
I'm always happy to entertain any discussion with you, yes.
The other thing, I want to thank, I know he's not here, but Stanley, I want to thank the dog catcher. There was two...
Animal control officer.
I apologize. There was two pit bulls running loose in the park up there on Shrewsbury Avenue, and young lady fell off the bike, was trying to get away from him, and I stopped the animal patrol, and he came and I think he ticketed the guy. And there was an incident on Bank Street where one pit bull ripped up another dog, and I think they had to get rid of that dog, so I want to thank him for that.
Henry Perez is an extraordinarily dedicated man. He is devoted, not just to this town, but also to those who can't speak for themselves. So he's a good guy.
Oh yeah, he was on the money. I want to thank him.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you for your kind words. I'll pass it along. He's the animal control officer. Anybody else? See, there's never been a cat catcher. That's the problem. That's why we can't say dog catcher.
Good afternoon. My name is Jimmy Dog, 48 West Sunset and Red Bank. I just want to thank Freddie Boyd for contacting with freeholders to get it pertaining to the crosswalk on Shrewsbury Avenue. I said, it's been a very long time.
Yes, it has.
And I said, just, it's helpful to, anybody. You see the traffic and it's like, people trying to cross there, it's really, I said, finally, this is, coming to an end and it'll be done starting in October. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? It's probably under new business, but I see we're talking about animal control. And one of the things that Pam is going to be putting on the agenda for us to work on and to advertise, and I think we can do it for free, is that we do have a need in our parks and along Shrewsbury Avenue, Broad Street, and Monmouth Street, and the train station to put up receptacle for animal waste. A lot of other towns have been doing it for the past 10 years. We don't have it. However, there's a way in which we can do it. It won't cost us a penny. And that is the council should authorize, probably at the next meeting, a request for people to secure licenses for their business establishments to be logos and or promotional ads on these standard containers, which we will purchase. And we will purchase it with the monies that we get for the advertising promotion. We will license their logo or animal hospital or doctor in that, so we can get it in place and it will not be at a cost to our taxpayers. So I think that that's going to be on our next council. As soon as we were talking about animal control, that sort of reminded me.
Oh, just can I comment on that?
Hold on just for a second.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
And those vessels would be delivered and installed?
That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah. In other words, a lot of other towns do it, and they're going to be standardized. We have to decide after we speak with our engineer what's safe, what is standard, what is appropriate, and then we'll figure out how much it's going to cost. We'll advertise for sponsors to be placed there, and it's been done in other towns, and I think we do the same thing. Mr. Giano.
Kate Trigiano, 22 Layton Avenue. I just wanted to speak to that really fast. What you just described was an initiative that is included in our environmental commission meetings. That is an initiative that we have been working towards, and also something that would, obtain us sustainable Jersey points. We've discussed it with TJ at Fins and Feathers, and there are other businesses and people in town who have already stated that they would like to be involved in an initiative like that. So I just wanted to make sure that we could communicate and be a part of that conversation, so we get the proper points for grant money in town.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Viscovi.
Mr. Mayor, I was just wondering for the next council meeting, is it possible to have the council meeting and the public discussion all at one location? So we're not all coming here and then all driving over there, to have it a one stop? I mean, I know we have to record it for the record. I know that's an issue.
Yeah, it's a logistics issue, yeah.
Does have microphones. I'm not sure if it has the ability to have what Pam has to record it, but I can record it for you.
Yeah, because of notification issues, do we have, should we talk about that now? And so the public will know?
Yeah, I apologize. Actually, Sue, thank you so much for bringing that up. I was actually supposed to say that in my committee report regarding that. I had spoken to Pam for the last couple of days about possibly having a council meeting at the primary school to keep everything in one location. But I know due to recording issues that, maybe Pam could speak to it a little more. If it's not a possibility, we would just go from here. It would be like we would do a 15-20 minute break and set up over there. So ideally you like one location, but if it's not possible, it's only 15 blocks away. And it'd be a good stop from here. And if people want to go directly from work right to the venue, to public hearing, I don't think it's too much of an inconvenience, I hope.
So we're going to start here and go there?
I think that would be the public hearing. I don't recall if there was a council meeting. It's really dependent on the recording. If Pam could easily do the recording at the prior school, then there's no issue from our end of having it there. But if there is a recording issue, then
Suzanne might be able to answer this question. Does the board have recording equipment when you have the Board of Ed meetings?
There is, unfortunately, the Board of Ed does not record the school board meetings. There is microphones and there is a base. So I'm not sure if she's able to attach maybe some kind of memory stick to that.
You have to go to rent equipment and stuff to do it properly. and it's only 2 weeks away. So I think we're going to have a council meeting here. Otherwise, the clerk will spend the next 2 weeks setting up the equipment, make sure it works, and the cost is expensive. I've done council meetings in other places in other towns, and to rent the equipment for one night is expensive. So I think it probably would be better for the clerk Saturday and for everyone if we just hooked it over there or drove it.
Any other members of the public? If not, do we have a need for an executive session this evening?
We do?
For purposes of contract negotiations and property and negotiations? Litigation. Okay. No formal action will be taken. So we are going to be retiring to executive session again. We'll be coming back just for purposes of dissolving ourselves into the evening, but no formal action will be taken. Thank you for coming. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Thank you.
No problem. Don't keep an eye on it.